Since its creation in 1934, the Translation Bureau has played a key role in shaping Canada into the country we know today. We have done this by providing a range of essential language services that build bridges between Canadians. Bridges between our government and citizens, between our different people and communities, and between our nation and the world. For over 80 years, the Translation Bureau has been much more than words. And today, we are proud to be helping Canada bridge into its next chapter.
Hi, my name is Erika Desjardins, and I will be talking to you today about Termium. So originally, Termium was named Banque Terminologique de l'Université de Montréal, but the government purchased it and renamed it Termium, which is short for Terminologie Université de Montréal. Termium, as we know it, came to be in 1976, thanks to the Translation Bureau, which is a division of Public Works and Government Services Canada. Until Termium was created, terminologists' main tool were two massive rotary files, which contained around 100,000 terms. These were essentially data cards recorded by translators of their findings, and this is how they kept track of them. The Translation Bureau got their hands on the Banque Terminologique de l'Université de Montréal in 1976, which comprised of 60,000 terms, and it would later become the first part of Termium. Termium used to be a telephone service, and it was divided into two parts. So one team was devoted to answering questions pertaining to terminology, and another team was devoted to answering questions pertaining to official titles. Priority was given to the Translation Bureau and freelance translation, but the teams still received calls from private companies as well as international organizations. Nearly 130,000 requests were received during the 1993 to 1994 year. It also used to be a CD-ROM subscription in 1990 that cost between $1,100 to $1,500 annually, and it had to be updated every 3 to 4 months. In 1995, there was only one telephone station left out of 14, and the official titles team had disintegrated. So terminologists were taking shifts of 1.5 hours a day answering requests instead of working through the day. The service was completely eliminated in 2002 and replaced by an email service, and in 2009 it became a completely free online service. Today, Termium contains nearly 4 million abbreviations and terms, and 60 terminologists continue to answer requests. Termium is what we would consider a data bank. Termium is also one of the world's largest linguistic and terminology banks, and you can find millions of terms and abbreviations in French, English, Spanish, and Portuguese. Let's go through looking for a term on Termium. I'm going to use the word lock. I really like the word lock. It's not really a funny, interesting story. It's just because I don't remember what year I was in, but in French, you can say barrer to mean lock, and it's because to lock a door, you used to have to put a metal bar across it to prevent it from being open from the outside. So that's why we would call it barrer in French, which would literally be to put a bar across it. So it really interests me, the origin of that word. So what you would do to search a word on Termium is go to the Termium website, which is www.btb.termiumplus.gc.ca, and it's very easy to get to. The homepage it will look like this. You will search the word lock, and you will see that it will suggest other things. You can search for different languages, so French, English, Spanish, Portuguese, and you can also search in different subject fields. There are a bunch of different ones: administration, agriculture, arts, compartments, economy. Let's just keep it to all subject fields for the sake of this presentation. When you search for a term, it'll show the date of the entry on the right side. As you can see here, this one is in 2015. And it'll also show the subject field right here, locks and locksmithing, so that you can make sure that you're in the right domain, so that you don't look at translations for the art field when you're trying to translate something in a science field. As you can see down here, it will change. So here it's security devices. This is the wool industry, so the translation is different than the ones up here. It will also show you the definition, and it will show you the acceptability rating, which is right here. So the ones that are most common will be correct, avoid, unofficial, no rating, which is essentially when the terminologist cannot determine the correctness of the term, former name, archaic, obsolete, and you can see the entries are in chronological order. So the most recent ones are 2015, 2014, and the oldest ones are very old, 1975. So these must be from the original Termium, which was Banque Terminologique de l'Université de Montréal. So a piece of history right there. It's also interesting because you can see the source. So in the definition, I can click on the magnifying glass, and I can see that the source is from the Oxford English Dictionary, which is a pretty reputable source. So I would tend to trust this definition. I'm going to click on the French one for the sake of argument. And it says here, Centre National de Ressources Textuelles et Lexicales. I've never heard of that, but it sounds pretty official. If I was actually doing a translation, I would go look it up and make sure. You can also save records on Termium by pressing Save Record and then clicking on Saved Records. It will save the records for an undetermined amount of time. I've tried closing the tab and then closing my browser altogether, shutting down my computer. The records were still saved. There's no indication of until when the records will be saved. That can be an advantage or a pitfall depending on how you choose to see it, but these are all the records that I've saved for no apparent reason. I'm not sure why I saved them, but they're there and they have not disappeared, so that's good. You can also make suggestions to add a term to the data bank or to make a change to the bank, and a terminologist will review it and decide whether or not the addition or change will be made. The Translation Bureau will contact you if they need more information, so they'll need your name, your email, and subject field of the term, the English term, the French term definition, the source, and you see in the bottom they do not want you to submit copyrighted material, which leads me to think that plagiarism will be frowned upon, so they want you to submit your own ideas. It's nice to know that our feedback is valued. The website also saves your search history. So if you need to go back and see any words you've previously searched, it'll be easy to find. You can also remove your search history if need be. So you can remove individual records, and you could remove all of your records altogether. And you can also customize your experience of Termium. So if you click up here on display options, you can choose to display results in either English first or French first. You can also choose to see results in Spanish, in Portuguese, or in neither. Therein lies one of Termium's pitfalls. So even though Spanish or Portuguese are not one of our official languages, it would be nice to have an option to see results in French, English, Spanish, and Portuguese at the same time, especially because in the field of translation, a lot of translations speak multiple languages. I myself speak 4 languages, and I know that I'm far from alone, so this is an option that would interest me, and I'm sure a lot of other people. Termium's features are constantly being innovated. For example, there's now a toolbar on the bottom when you search a word that allows you to search a new word right here. Filter results by field right here. Show words related to your search alphabetically right here. It also allows you to configure display options right here, and this button will bring you to the top of the page. This is all done with one click of a button. The problem with this toolbar is that sometimes you'll be scrolling. It will make me look like a liar right now. You'll be scrolling, like right now, and it won't pop up. So the toolbar will appear when it wants to, and sometimes it doesn't at all. So I'm not sure what the trick is for the toolbar, but that is also something that could be worked on. Another good thing about Termium is that it has an extremely lengthy frequently asked questions page, which is very good for someone who's trying to use Termium Plus for the first time. They can easily navigate the website with the help of the FAQ page. It also lists the changes and improvements, so it's good that Termium is always changing and improving their website. So as you can see, it's very long. Very, very detailed. So the use of Termium, like I mentioned, it's a term bank and it's regulated by terminologists of the Bureau of Translation. I would deem it a very trustworthy tool. I myself often use it when I get stuck on a word and I'm not too sure how to translate it, but I always check the date of entry. I always check the field of the entry as well as the acceptability rating, and I always cross-reference my findings with another reputable source, such as a dictionary that has a good reputation. Termium is good for abbreviations or terms, but you cannot use this source to translate sentences, expressions, or anything lengthy, such as other sources like the one we just saw with Reverso, which can translate expressions, which is fantastic. And it can translate whole documents. Termium cannot do that. What I don't like about Termium, there's not a lot of things that I don't like, but I will say that I really don't like that I can't see results in French, English, Spanish, and Portuguese at the same time. And the toolbar could be worked on. The fact that sometimes it shows up and sometimes it doesn't is problematic, but this is a new feature, and like a lot of new features, there will be problems, and this is just something that they'll need to work on. What I do like about Termium is that not just anyone can change the content of the website, but suggestions can be submitted and will be taken into account by professional terminologists. The website itself is sleek and aesthetically pleasing. There are no ads and it's easy to get around. It's not clunky and it flows really smoothly. It's always being innovated, and new useful tools are constantly being added to the interface. For me, the whole Termium experience is pleasant, and I don't really have anything bad to say about it. Thank you for listening, and I hope that if you didn't know about Termium, you will get to know it and love it as much as I do.
Too many people still see the Translation Bureau as a group of people seated behind stacks of dictionaries and encyclopedias. And they're wrong. In fact, at the Translation Bureau, we're testing cutting-edge language technology in order to provide new products to our clients. Technology is evolving by leaps and bounds because of the research that's being done. As part of Blueprint 2020, we've spearheaded a wide range of pilot projects in the field of language technology. For instance, remote interpretation takes interpreters to events, no matter where they are. Machine translation can help make understanding our official languages easier. Thanks to technology, the Government of Canada can better communicate with persons with disabilities using closed captioning via voice recognition and the remote interpretation of sign language. At the Translation Bureau, we can manage the language needs of the Federal Public Service with help from our internal teams and our suppliers to better serve Canadians. Through social media, we'll be able to go global and broaden the horizons of terminology, as well as gain access to translation specialists in various fields. The Bureau continues to innovate every day. For us, the sky's the limit. Because the Translation Bureau is more than words.